a government vehicle to be taking you around, and so it has the prestige that that position comes with, and the lobbying is still ongoing. But by the end of this meeting, we'll be knowing who will carry the day, even as we wait for tomorrow's swearing in and the election of the Speaker of both houses, Akisa.
Chris Tyro, our senior political reporter on that parliamentary group meeting by the Jubilee Party that is being hosted by President Uhuru Kenyatta, the leader of the Jubilee Party, at State House here in Nairobi. We continue to keep tabs on that. On the other hand, members of parliament from the National Super Alliance constituent parties had a meeting at the Okoa Kenya Offices in Lavington. The meeting was expected to chart a common position for the opposition coalition ahead of tomorrow's inaugural sitting of both the National Assembly and the Senate. The members agreed to attend tomorrow's swearing-in session despite an earlier threat to boycott the first sitting.
Here, many of them who are fresh men and women in the House will proceed for their induction activities at the Parliament. Number 3, we have agreed that as a coalition to bring synergy, cohesion, and the unity of purpose in the execution of our duties in the House, we are going to have a retreat, most probably towards the end of next week, with all our members, so that we can be able to deal with issues of leaderships in the House, committees and their membership, and how our members are going to conduct their affairs. We have also had the opportunity to give advice to our members that they must have fidelity to the NASA coalition. And temptations like crossing the floor to look for maendeleo are not things we are encouraging, because we know how to get maendeleo without crossing the floor. Thank you.
Yeah, do you have any question?
Is there?
My question concerns the talks about your party elect members not taking the oath of office.
Namaswa, I have just said that we have unanimously agreed that our members will attend Parliament tomorrow. And the only agenda for attendance is to take the oath of office. Thank you.
Mark Namaso, our reporter, covered that for us. He now joins us live from Lavington at the Okoa Kenya Offices for more. Mark, really, if you have been privy to some of the conversations that have been going on, what will be NASA's agenda really in the National Assembly, since they have decided they will be taking oath of office with the rest of the people?
Now, Akisa, it's now official that NASA-affiliated members of parliament, those belonging to the NASA-affiliate parties, will, after all, tomorrow join the inaugural launch of the 12th parliament and take oath of office. Now, part of the agenda is charting the way forward as a party that goes into parliament with a disadvantage in terms of numbers. And right now, we are joined by Suba North Member of Parliament, Millie Odhiambo, to tell us exactly what are some of the things they will be gunning for, even that numbers are against them.
Well, I would want to say that really, I don't know why the unnecessary excitement about numbers, because nothing much has changed. In the last parliament, which was just a month or so ago, Jubilee had a majority, and we were still able to move our agenda forward, both within parliament and outside parliament. And I would want to say that I would be worried if they came back with a super majority, which they do not have. And that is very significant. If you don't have a super majority, you cannot do a lot of things. With a simple majority, they can change things, but we would want to tell Jubilee that you better change things within the law. Otherwise, they are in for a long, rough ride. Yes.
Kenyans would like to be told in simple terms what is a simple majority and what numbers make a super majority.
Super majority is when you have 2/3, which they don't have. They don't have 2/3 of the House. A simple majority is basically like your 50+1. That you have, that is what you really need when you are passing any ordinary piece of legislation. But for you to do a constitutional amendment, you must have a super majority. and which they do not have. So for me, I would want to tell you that even in the last parliament, they had tyranny of numbers, we had tyranny of brains. Most of the brains are back. And we even have fresher, younger, more brilliant brains that we've even seen in the Supreme Court. People like Otiende Amolo. So really, we are not worried about the numbers. I would be worried if the brains were absent, but they're there in plenty. Okay.
NASA principals have talked about loyalty to the party. You have independents that are friendly to NASA. Yes. What form of action, according to your discussions, would you take if, let's say, a member decides to cross over to the other side of the floor?
Well, what we did in the past, one, we have whipping and de-whipping mechanisms. But one of the things I would want to say that people should learn, actually, is that the public has better de-whipping mechanisms. There are a lot of the members who did not toe the party line. Majority of them went home. And I think that is something that members sometimes take lightly, that all politics is local. You must listen and be able and be sure that you are listening to your own constituency. Sometimes you are listening to a quarter of your constituency and you are thinking you are listening to your whole constituency. If you come